Hi, and welcome to cRIsp. Today, we zoom in on the latest in a string of recent high profile attacks on the banking and payments infrastructure, this time in India against the National Payments Corporation of India, the NPCI. The attack was essentially a ransomware attack. Indeed, ransomware reared its head around the turn of the last decade and has since remained a globally trending term when it comes to cybersecurity posture and resilience discussions, cutting across the length and breadth of our connected world. Today, I'm joined by registered trainer and expert Rahul Srivastav, trusted advisor to the private and public enterprises, and by Vishnu Rao, serial entrepreneur and CEO Dumore Apps. Hey Vishnu, what can you tell us about it?
Thanks, Alan. Yes, Rahul had touched on the alarming number of these incidents, and the frequency has skyrocketed in recent times. The root cause of this incident was an open network port for SSH, specifically the port 22. So, this vulnerability was present on a server running Jenkins, which was managed by Bronto, a technology service provider to Edge, and that a joint venture between State Bank and TCS. Rahul?
Yeah, thanks, Alan. Vishnu has made a remarkable point, right? Uh, what I say, I have already mentioned this thing in my previous conversation that any breach that happens with the finance and banking industry that has ultimate major repercussions. So we cannot afford to have this kind of breach and vulnerabilities. See, I tell you one thing here. Uh, it is rarely required because once we talk about CS, that is the joint venture of TCS, SBI, and NPCI is directly involved since 2013. Has come up with the Rupee card, right? UPI. So the best part of this has been happened that NPCI taken the initiative and could disconnect their retail payment infrastructure from CH for time being. That has been all, now restored after security review. But that's okay. But we should understand we cannot afford this kind of gaps, vulnerabilities in the payment system. What is
Right.
your take, Vishnu here?
Right, you're right about that. So, just to touch on the details there, the infiltrator, who seems to go by the pseudonym of ransom underscore X, he or they took advantage of this oversight by the CH. What's particularly concerning for me is that this vulnerability, listed as CVE 2024-23897, had been publicly known since January 24, 2024, and it was rated as 9.8. Let me repeat that. That was a 9.8 vulnerability, not less. It's shocking that it wasn't patched in time.
Exactly. I mean, the attackers typically start with reconnaissance, identifying weak points in the bank's infrastructure. In this case, they exploited the unpatched vulnerability, a sitting duck, an older Jenkins version to gain access. And once they were in, they deployed ransomware to encrypt all the critical data and just halting all the operations.
Right, Alan. And we should not forget the reputational damage that we incur. Even bank pays the ransom, then it's a big thing because being a customer,
Yeah.
our trust can be breached out. So probably it is not recommended, and this situation is puts us in the very awkward position. So we should take immediate measures and rectify the situation, and industry and even the banking and finance industry should come forward and maintain the routine security review and auditing and even probably we can come out and come out with the solution where we can propose security review and audit to the MSMEs and the BFSI industry.
Mm, right. So, what lessons can we draw from this for our listeners? First and foremost, I think we need to enhance our cybersecurity posture. Like you said, Rahul, we should educate our MSMEs and smaller organizations as well. You know, regular audits of third party vendors are essential. We saw what happened with the Microsoft Windows major downtime last month. You can't have that with a basic null pointer last month and a basic issue that which wasn't fixed this with the SBI Bank. So we can't just assume they have a robust security measures in place and follow their processes to the T. We need to make sure that our cybersecurity posture is correct and in terms with our risk management ability.
Absolutely, Vishnu, and we are. I think we are all agreed on this point. No large company, has still put all their security measures in place. But I think we should start with the basics, investing in employee training. Many breaches occurred due to human error, like falling for phishing scams. So, well informed staff can act as the first line of defense. In this case, I think it's indicated that the initial bait was actually a phishing link to some unsuspecting contract staff responsible for maintenance and administration of the underlying infrastructure. Hmm.
True, Ellen. Even because the BF banking, finance, and insurance industries major payment yeah, for the payment structure or infrastructure for the customers, and it is even RBI has said this thing that the bank should be this industry, this vertical banking and finance should be more secure. And even they are working on 24 by 7 by 365 ways, so probably they should come forward and maintain the routine security review, end-to-end encryption. Uh, that is very necessary. Even as Vishnu mentioned, employee training that is more important, so that any data breach should not be happen, because this is all being happened via the data breach or vulnerability, because there are four checkpoints. There is network, there is software, right, there is server side. So if you look at in the broader perspective, so there is gaps, and why there are gaps, because they are not maintaining the security audit on regular basis. So probably even as mentioned earlier, Alan, that page comes into the January 2024, but this case has been happened in July, right? And so there is 6 to 7 months gap. It hasn't been applied so far. So what was the reason? We are not going into that, but that is not the healthy standard. Even I tell you one thing here, if you look at the ransomware attack that has been mostly in United States, United Kingdom, and Russia, and even in India, it is coming up in the more front ways, right, even more aggressive manner. Hospitals and healthcare industries, the prawn targeted. So probably we need to safeguard hospitals and healthcare industry, and this is my submission probably. And we should come forward to safeguard these hospitals and healthcare vertical, because and they are now prone to ransomware attacks.
Right, Rahul. So I want to add that, we should certainly consider investing in advanced threat detection technologies. And, um, for that, in my line of work, I see an opportunity to deploy AI and machine learning to help identify unusual patterns and potential threats before they escalate. So, you know, not all small organizations, MSMEs or others, can deploy the resources or staff who can handle cybersecurity. So maybe that's one of the reasons we see uh, most basic fixes going overlooked, because all the staff is working on something more critical, which they think is something more urgent. But I think if we use AI and machine learning to recognize unusual patterns and potential threats, that could bring down the cost and increase the security.
Uh,
I totally agree, Rahul, Vishnu. I couldn't agree more. The tech is here, the standards, the regulatory guidance, it's all here. But end of the day and every day, what it boils down to is it's a collaborative effort, make no mistake. Cybersecurity isn't just the IT department's responsibility, it's a company wide initiative. The incident is believed to have occurred. I think Rahul, you mentioned July something, and was only reported much later on when the news started coming in. So I think we need to start, not just reacting to these threats, but anticipating them.
True, Alan. Very true.
Yeah, cheers to that. It's about building resilience in our systems and fostering a culture for security awareness.
Great. And I think that's all we have time for today. Cheers and thanks, folks, and thanks everybody who has made time to tune in. We hope you take away the best parts from this crisp conversation as well and share your wins and ideas with us too. Until next time, stay curious, stay sharp. Adios.
Adios.